EVOLIO Podcast International Edition. I'm very proud to have on my side Lisa Ann Marchesi. Benvenuta.
Thank you for welcoming me. I'm so excited to be here.
Just in the south of Italy, in Bari, for EVOLIO Expo 2026. For what?
I am ready to bring the next real virgin back to the United States.
The original, because in EVO for in Italian, there is a lot of varieties, but it's important also to understand tailor-made oil. And tailor-made oil made in Italy is a guarantee, also worldwide.
Yes. And you know, I've spent many years in this business, just about a decade, and I have studied everything there is about extra virgin olive oil. I've gone up to Milan and met with the professor of proteins who helped me understand why it's important to have a real extra virgin, because when I did come, not in this region, but in other regions, I found that some of the oils were blended from different countries. And so it's important. What I love about Puglia and what I love the most is your Cortina olives. And that yields the highest levels of polyphenols, which are antioxidants. And that to me is important. It's the quality, it's the taste, and it's the people that I love to do business here.
Oil is not only oil, it's all around. And so I understand from this start that you are passionate about clima, passionate about the properties of EVO, and also the strictly relation which is between oil, EVO, and health, our health, especially for prevention.
That's correct. So what started me in this business was not only coming from an Italian family, an Italian-American family.
Marchesi,
sì. My family's name is Fragala, which means strawberry in Italian.
Fragola, yeah.
Yes. So that's my family's name. Marchesi is my husband's name. So my grandmother, I grew up cooking in an Italian household, and she unfortunately passed away from breast cancer. And so I wanted to bring something to the U.S. that was good for health, something that was healthy, something that represented my family, something that had our DNA on it. And I love to cook, and I thought bringing back a pure EVOO would be a great honor and tradition for my family. And the health benefits, the antioxidants, are the polyphenols. And that's why I always look for high levels of polyphenols in the Cortina olive.
Just to understand, as Italian citizen, how is possible, if is possible today, to understand what we eat, to understand, to have the culture, to understand what we eat, not only in our home, but also in public places like restaurant, meetings, because in that ability to understand what we eat, there is the first step to our health.
That's right. And I think it all starts with the inside coming, and what we bring inside our bodies is what is, keeps us alive, keeps us healthy. And like I said, the idea of me going on the journey to find what I say is the real virgin, to make sure it's 100% pure extra virgin olive oil, is so important because of the health benefits to it. And what you may not know, but I did go public with it, is that I myself had breast cancer. So I am a breast cancer survivor, and this has got a new meaning for me. This coming here and bringing back a new extra virgin olive oil is now going to be something that's a personal journey for me, as opposed to giving it back for my grandmother's memory. But now it's about a journey that I am on now, as I'm in 3 years of remission, and I would like to give a bottle of health. Is how I look at extra virgin olive oil, as a bottle of health, and give that back to the U.S. and show them that it's a beautiful gift to have.
is possible to imagine, especially for the Gen Z, the young generation, that education for the food is the first step, but not with junk food. Let's understand us, because there is a prototype of USA food is the big industries of transformation, and in this word transformation there is the evil.
Yes, that's true. And in fact, what I love when I come to Italy, what's amazing is that I actually come here and I lose weight. I don't stop eating from the minute I get here to the minute I leave Italian food. It is very different than American Italian food. And the reason being is because none of it is processed here. It's all natural. All the ingredients are natural. So I actually lose weight when I come here, which is unheard of. You know, people come to Italy, they want to lose weight before they go on vacation and visit. You don't have to do that. You're going to lose it when you come, because you're going to do a lot of walking, a lot of exercising, a lot of eating, and all the food is unprocessed. That's what makes it unhealthy in the U.S. That's our biggest problem in the U.S. And so I think that it's really important that, listen, you teach your kids at a young age. My son Dominic, which my olive oil is named after, D'Amore. So my son Dominic grew up, and he's spent time here in Italy with me, and he went to the olive groves and tasted the olive oil. He's become a huge foodie, like his mom. So he loves to cook, and we like to cook Italian because we are. And he's got a great taste for, everything healthy. He wants to eat healthy. And I think, and that is the Gen Z. And I think we need to educate the parents, the older adults, in order to help teach their children and the next generation and the next generation over. And I think it starts with the olive. I really do. I honestly do, because you could use olive oil in so many ways, And so one of the things I did, I was on a show called Dr. Oz. So Dr. Oz had me on as a guest talking about the health benefits of extra virgin olive oil. And what I discussed with him right out of the gate was, when I went to Italy with my son, we were up in Rome, and I said, there was a woman sitting there giving a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil to her child. And I said, what is this? There was no butter on the table. It was only olive oil.
Not coffee, not Coke, not tea,
Nothing.
but olive.
Olive oil. And I said, what is this? So she says, no, it is so. She said, it's a teaspoon of vitamin. It's good for you. It lower your cholesterol.
Yes.
It's one of the healthiest fats that we have in terms of olive oils and different types of oils.
Lisa, it's so important your communication, and then we have to talk also about your rule of podcast world champion in correct food use. During EVOLIO, I have the pleasure to be host of the EVO Health. So not only oil and health, but oil is health.
Yes.
And the professor Francesco Schittulli, the president of LILT, the Association Against Tumor, important surgeon in international board, told about the price, because the difference between produce health and oil at not is the price. So 13-14 euro is the minimal price for a made in Italy EVO oil. And he said during EVOLIO that we spend a lot for a bottle of wine, not excellent wine, that has a shelf life of 1 hour during a meal.
That's right.
Instead that an oil bottle of the same 1 liter, for example, that during 2 weeks. So we have also to give, as educators, this kind of example to Gen Z or the other people to understand to spend better, not to spend less.
Right. I've had, so I have an import company called Bella di Oliva by Lisa Ann Marchesi.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we would do is my customers, when I imported from Puglia, was to educate the consumers, number one. And number two, it was, I had customers who would buy it by the case and they would go through it. And I only sold it in a 100 milliliter bottle because the minute you open up the bottle, it does start to oxidize. The bottles need to be dark. The bottle needs to be stored in a dark cabinet in a cool area. It can't be over a stove or anything like that. So you want to hold on to that integrity. It doesn't go bad, but within 30 days, and like you said, 2 weeks to 30 days, the antioxidants that you're buying it for will start to oxidize, And so my clients bought it by the case, and they would go through it for a month, And I think that because look, we buy vitamins. You could buy a bottle of vitamins, good vitamins, for in the U.S. maybe $50 a month. If you want a good approved.
$50.
Yeah, $50. So instead, you have the olive oil, and it's less, and you're still getting the same benefits, if not better, because this is pure, where vitamins are not, and you could have you could benefit from the same, benefits that you would from vitamins, which is why we use extra virgin olive oil. And people have said to me, like, can you recommend an olive oil? If you don't have your oil anymore, you sold out. COVID shut me down, and I'm about to restart and come out with a new brand, which is why I'm here. Is that I want to be able to, give my clients again the same quality and respect that I did before.
You can't be a good buyer if you don't. If you are not ready to travel, to speak and listen from the producers of oil, and also to understand the market of this nation instead that your country, not only your country. So it's a worldwide vision that you implemented by communication, corrected communication. Tell us about your podcast. When do you start with this kind of alphabetization, but also with a language? I argue that is a scientific pop language, because you have to talk about oil with correct information, but also a translation for people who don't understand strictly scientific language.
Right. So my podcast is called Straight Up Extra Dirty, and it's a spin off of a martini drink. But as you know, there's always 3 olives in my drink, and so I'm constantly surrounded by olives. And the idea of our podcast can be seen. You can watch us on YouTube. And you could also listen to us on all the podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, just to name a few. But what's really important is we film once a month a food episode. And so we would like to introduce new sponsors to the show that, would like us to showcase their product. And talk about it, because what we don't do is, what I'm doing is educating consumers as opposed to showing a beautiful bottle of extra virgin olive oil, because our listeners can hear us. Podcasts are known to be listened to, but we actually give you a visual as well. And the idea is to also showcase the olive oil now. That was the whole, a lot of it was brought on because of the extra virgin olive oil and why I'm here. And so we tend to continuously, we had a show about New Year's and about food, what to bring. And we were drizzling it on caviar. We were drizzling it on a tatotini, I call it, which is basically like mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
You drizzle it on extra.
Mashed potatoes is
pureed. And so there's so many ways to use it. Like even the guests we had on that represented the caviar company couldn't believe it. So there's so many, and you can put it on ice cream. I mean, no one even thinks about this kind of stuff until you put it on and they're like, this is amazing. So I am open to talking with anybody who would like to, come on as a sponsor and we could talk about the product and kind of blast it out.
Let's talk about finally your future, the future of oil, not only in Italy, but you are ready to take off for USA. And after this kind of show, because there is a show, you have also the possibility to create a human relationship, to understand new companies, new products. In your bag, what do you put before you take off, and what is the addicted value of EVOLIO?
So when I meet with the different producers and what I am taking home, I mean, first, visually, you know, you walk past a booth, and visually I'm looking at a bottle. I mean, something that stands out, something I'm like, wow, I wonder what that tastes like, right? It doesn't look like every kind of market oil that you would see. It stands out, it's different, and that's what I love. I wanted something very unique. And then when I sit down, the second thing I want to know is the correttina and the organic correttina oil.
Yeah.
And then I want to taste it. I want to taste those polyphenols. I want to feel that burning in my throat.
Yeah.
Okay. And I like I said, I've taken tasting classes in Parma, in Italy. So I've learned how to taste good olive oil, one from the other. And then thirdly, you know, it's tell me what the polyphenols are. I want to know the lab report. Tell me what I'm putting in my body. Tell me what it is. So if you don't have that, there's no reason for us to talk anymore. So I'm telling you, there are so many fabulous, fabulous olive oils here representing Puglia and some other regions, but this is Puglia, and it is, what I understand, 40% of the oil that's produced in Italy comes from Puglia. Am I correct?
For sure.
Okay.
Because there is a sensorial experience from what you told about this your journey in Puglia for EVOLIO, an experience made of scenes, made of shake hands, made of listen, made of smell, because oil is important also as sensorial experience to breathe the experience before your taste.
Yes, and I think that's something that's important, and I would encourage you throughout your different shows is to talk about it, especially in the American market, is to have someone to talk about the health benefits, why it's important, because olive oil is
before the symptoms.
That's right, because it's an antioxidant, so it's supposed to fight the free radicals, right, of cancer. It's one of the most amazing components to it. It will lower your cholesterol. People in America, like, they think of it as a condiment. Okay?
Yeah.
You know a condiment. It's like ketchup and mayo and mustard. It's like, no, olive oil is a gift. It is not a condiment. It is something that is so, when it's pure and it tastes good and it's amazing, you're putting it in your body, it could do wonders for you. And I think if you talk about that more, and when you have buyers like myself from America, from other countries outside of Italy, and we could talk about, why is this so important? Why are they making such a big deal about this? Well, I'll tell you why. Here's my story. I'm a survivor. I'm a cancer survivor. Some of my family didn't make it through the cancer. But you know what? For the most part, moving forward, I am trying to pay it forward, help other people, educate the consumer from not just the health benefits, but the taste. The taste is unbelievable. The stuff in America, what they do is they'll use oil on the table for bread. You know what they put in it? They put cheese and they put pepper and they put all this crap in it. And the reason why they put that in there is to mask the flavor, because it tastes like crap. So if you leave that alone, if you take all that out, I'll be honest with you, straight up, like my show, straight up, I will tell you that I've had some people taste the oil and were like, I don't like the way this tastes. And I say to them, wait a minute, you're used to, like, not good olive oil. Like, this is what pure EVOs taste like. This is what you need to get used to. If it doesn't taste like this, then you're not tasting real extra virgin olive oil. And that's how I drop the mic on that.
So don't call simply it oil as condiment, and don't call air simply as a buyer.
No.
So Lisa Ann is an expert of communication, of knowledge, of health and the oil. Lisa Ann is simply Lisa Ann Marchesi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.